Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second day of the SME Assembly. And I'm really happy to have the privilege to introduce this session, which, as you know, it's the SMEs AI Exchange, okay? And we will be working 1 hour, so from 9:15 to 10:15. We have 3 guests here, and I will introduce them in a moment. And this is also what we call them a participatory session. So the idea is that although 3 speakers and then we listen to their stories, we want also to know a little bit about your stories with the AI, because we know we are all using AI at different levels in this moment, or almost anyone is doing this. I want also to introduce to you my colleague, which is there with that beautiful red dress, Miriam Artola Dendaluce. She will be harvesting the conversation and sketch noting it. You will see her work later, and then it will be on the in the Ideas Lounge, but also shared online. And yes, we have these 3 entrepreneurs. There are 3 entrepreneurs. The first one is Dennis Tan. Dennis is the co-founder and the CEO of Dashnote. It's a company that it's basically working with big data for public organization. Dennis, and all of you will explain a little bit more about your companies. Sure. In any case, I also invite you to check on the app, their profile. You have the description of what they do. It's quite always interesting to see, and we never have the time to go through all those things they do. The second one, it's Anna Moll. Yeah. She's the coordinator at BYZZ AI project in the family company, the family business. And they are in the construction business, so that's also very interesting. And then we have Aaron Nagy. Aaron Nagy is the CEO of Polyinvent, which is a chemical company. And basically, they are using AI in almost every single activity they do. So he will share his stories about that. And as I say, we also see this session as a participatory session. So I will invite you now just to listen to them with this, just paying attention to what they say in this way. So I will divide the room in 3 different areas. We start from this area, which is, So I invite you to listen to them and really trying to grasp from their presentation where is the added value of the AI in what they do, okay? So that's the genuine added value. And you may also, if you like, sit with others, especially if you are just alone, like you. But that's the idea, okay? Then we have a second area of the room, which is about challenges and skills. So we all know that to use AI, you need also some very important skills, and you need to develop those skills in your company. So I invite this table here just to listen to the speakers and just trying to grasp what's their message or what's their experience about challenges and skills. And then we have the third area. And the third area, it's about, we just call that best practices. We mean, by the way, best policies practices. So if there is any indication from what they will say about best policies practices, you are invited to grasp that. And what I will, and you will do, it's right after they have been offered their contribution. I will just give you 10 minutes at the table to reflect on what you have heard, what you have understood about that, and then we will open the conversation with you and with them. Oh, I will just moderate the conversation, but nothing more than this. And yeah, that's it. So it's time to start listening to the stories of our 3 guests here. So Dennis,
I can kick off? Nice, okay,
yeah.
Sure.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Let's see what I put on slide. That's my name. Let's do a small exercise. We'll use this here on a daily basis, a tool like ChatGPT or any other of these tools. Okay, a couple of hands. Okay, it's increasing. I hope next year it's everyone. And secondly, Wu received a LinkedIn message from me yesterday. Okay, I see more hands. Interesting to see. Maybe fun to know that I actually use an automated AI tool. So it's funny to see how seamlessly AI has actually, integrated into daily communication and our work. I will talk today about the value of AI for SMEs, the challenges and how to implement it, or the best practices. But before I do that, a small introduction. So I've been an entrepreneur for about 20 years. I'm a self-proclaimed passionate tech and entrepreneurship geek, and I love technology in generally. I co-founded Dashmode, which is a scale-up, an SME, founded in Europe, in the Netherlands, and we have offices in the US and also in Asia. And we help essentially companies making more use out of data. So we get data from about 250 public sources, and combined with client data, help companies with actionable insights. But moving on, to make it a bit more engaging, I will, during the presentation, make a bit of a connection to make it easier to understand between historic technological revolutions and on the other side, how we do it at Dashmode. So we'll go over things like electricity, the invention of fire, mechanical farming, the printing press, and the internet itself. Because AI is as impactful as those things were. We might not fully know that yet, but going through these things, you will see the similarities. So the first thing is how AI can help SMEs, what is the real added value? So the first thing is automated repetitive tasks, right? So think of emails, customer interactions, these type of things. So similar to, for example, fire, where initially it was used for warmth and cooking, but later on for other things as well. The second thing, enhanced decision making. So like electricity, initially electricity costs basically transition from manual labor to automatized machines, basically, to optimize kind of like things. And I will do the same as well. And the third thing is enabling innovation, where we like to think of what happens now. It's about also what happens beyond as well, right? So it will lead to new products and new innovation kind of things. The second thing is, what are the challenges in implementing AI and what skills are needed, basically. So the first things are that businesses need to teams equipped with intelligence around these type of things, right? So to have good adaptation, we need data literacy. So if we don't have data literacy, it's hard for teams to understand it. The second thing is data quality and management. So if you think about when we move to mechanical farming, it is important that you have the right seeds, right? So if you don't have the right seeds, even if you have the nice machine, it don't really work, right? So the same goes for AI as well. You need good, clean, and structured data. The third thing is there's a lot of resistance to change. So when the Industrial Revolution happened, a lot of the labor feared their jobs. The same is happening for AI. Where people feel like they're getting replaced or their job will disappear. But how we should act to them is more that we actually are able to give them all like an Iron Man suit. Help give them superpower, make them more effective, enable them to do more. And the last thing is ethics, cost, and regulation, which is obviously important for making sure that if we want to remove the fear, we need transparency on these kind of things, right? So if we don't know things, we are scared of them to begin with. The best practices for implementing AI, the first thing is to start small and then scale up, right? So where I mentioned before, where fire was initially used for heat and for cooking, it later was used for making metal, for example, metallurgy, right? So the same for AI. What we will do next with it, it depends also later on when it's scaled up. The second thing for big practices is to invest in skills and training. Which is also important that we give access to them, right? So if you're not doing that to users, make sure the tools are out there, essentially speaking, and that they have access to it, right? The third thing, what I mentioned before, is to focus on data and quality. Make sure you have clean data or talk with other parties that can help out to make sure you have the right amount of data. Because if you don't have the right data, it's hard to give proper ROI, give good return on investment or give tangible results. And the last thing is collaborate or experiment. Because with new technology, we need to learn from each other and make sure that we can upgrade. Then how do we do it in terms of within our company? So we tend to focus on real problems. And make it really actionable. So, for example, we help restaurants to find new clients, to find the right products that they should be selling to the right customer, therefore seeing direct results, essentially speaking. They don't always know it's AI, but they know it's powered by AI, essentially speaking. The second thing is we make sure the tools are easy to use, essentially speaking, right? So we need more education, but if the barrier is very high and we think that they have only code, it's very hard, right? So we do give some tips and tricks as well, but we make sure also that the products are very easy to comprehend. We collaborate with the clients to make sure that they get enough education on the tools itself as well. And we really focus on data-driven results, right? So people tend to have a stigma around AI, and now it shows more tangible value, but even now we're in the early stages. So giving, let's say, clear examples of what it brings to them in percentage, et cetera, gives them better. And the last thing is continuous learning and feedback, essentially speaking, to improve that process. So the key takeaway is AI does offer real added value to SMEs, but it's really dependent on skills, strategy, and ethical oversight. I would say start small. Make sure you build a data foundation, which can lead to scalable solutions over time. In generally, the future belongs to the people who harness wisely the power of AI. I hope I give you a little bit of inspiration and some comparison so that you can be part of that movement, essentially speaking. The last slide is a bit more text. It's also a bit of a help for the kind of things. It's things, as some of you are policy makers, how you can help out in causing this movement happening. We need all help. Like for any large technology advancement, we need to help each other out to get it to moving out. We're not going back to before, right? So AI is like a new tool. The gap will get very large between the people who don't make use of it versus the people who do, right? And it will go very rapidly. Specifically for SMEs, right? We don't always have the same access as the larger companies do, right? But what I think is interesting about AI specifically is like the printing press, right? That the printing press cost for accessibility to information, right? And AI democratized the business intelligence, right? But like the printing press itself as well, if we don't have if we cannot read, there's no purpose to have books, right? So in our case, the same thing as well, right? If we want to make use of AI, we need to increase data and AI literacy, right? And therefore some of these things. So I won't go for it to take too much time, but take a picture and you can use it for the table that has the best practices one for the policy one. Yes, thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you, Danis. And Anne, over to you.
Thank you. So today I'm talking about AI in the area of the underestimated giant, the German skills trade. And we have more than 130 trades in Germany, more than 1 million companies, but above all, more than 5.6 million makers. And you can see here my brother Felix, he's one of them.
Yeah, nice.
Did you expect that the German skilled trades, but also the building trade, is bigger than the German automotive industry? That's such a huge, huge playground for AI we have here. And AI and its processes are becoming more and more used in the skilled trade. I have some teasers for the future I would like to share with you. First, the skilled trades will keep their business model with their hands. And I truly believe that there will be an enormous increase of the need of their skills in the future. Then meaningful work such as we have there will continue to gain in value, and career changers and academic retirees will increasing significantly. There will be more and more startups, pioneers that are launching solutions together with the skilled trades, and AI will become more and more like a digital co-worker. So when we have a look at the value chain, there are such a lot of processes where we can use AI already, and I will give you some examples from our company. First, let's have a look at the picture on the right where you can see the roofs, and there are some measurement lines within the roofs. We already use them for the automatically generating cost estimates, and we also use these visualizations for the generation of 3D models. And with these models, we can give our customers a realistic idea of the end results of their roofs. And I have some more examples for you. First, the material management, where we can use AI for the forecasting of and the demand for our building materials and the monitoring of our stock levels. And then we have the construction equipment management and optimization, where we can use AI to monitor the operation and predict maintenance needs. And then we use also the text-based AI, of course, as a virtual assistant, for example, for our marketing content, such as blog posts or social media posts, but also to create email templates and risk assessments. And the advantages, they are clear. We save time. We save a lot of time, and in the future we will be able to make a better decision-making through the sensor data, which is then connected to AI. But when we started to digitalize our company, we almost lost in the big picture. And I think this can also happen when you start with using AI. So I have some tips for you at this place. First, think in small steps. You can't change everything within one day or 1 week. It takes time. And then exchange your ideas with others. Like you sit here on the round table. Use it for sharing your ideas, for learning, for sparring, and celebrate your successes. When you have a real automated workflow within your company, that's a huge success, so celebrate it. And then think about AI, as I already mentioned, as a step-by-step development. But what skills are needed when you want to use AI in your company? I think it's the most important one, that there is the willingness to undergo continuous further training, and that there is the willingness to adapt to these new technologies and to new working methods, because AI is such a dynamic environment, so you have to be on track there every day. And then you need analytical thinking, because you have to evaluate and to make decisions based off huge data amount. And yeah, it's really important that you ask the right questions. So you have to be the specialist in your trade, and your knowledge must be really good. So we have education like the roofing master in Germany, which is so important in the future that we keep this. And then there's also the structured approach, which could be really helpful when using AI, and that you are structured in your approach. So I would like to share with you now how we started in our company with using AI. So let's start with the fundament, with the preparation and data organization. So you first have to prepare all your relevant data. What you need to ask yourself if your data formats, if they fit. If you have, for example, text and graphics or methods in PowerPoints, it cannot be read out by the AI. So you need to know your formats and need to prepare your documents. Then think about your target definition. What tasks should the AI take over? Test and save really good prompts. If you have them, then save them for later, because you will need it later in the process to train your employees. And then think about the output format of your AI as well, because you want to use the data in your systems, so it's a really important point. And then start with pilot projects. Just do it. Just start and learn and discuss with others. And of course, train your employees. And when you have these databases from your prompts that you already saved, it's so much easier to train them to use the AI. And then think about it as a step-by-step expansion, as Dennis also mentioned. It's really important. You need to think about it as a project. You start with the basics and then get more and more into detail. So what do we need, or how can you support craft enterprises in using AI? So when we started, I wish there was more access to information sources, free access to experts for special applications and for AI in the trades. And then it would be really great to have hands-on trainers who come directly to your company to train you on site how the AI works and what possibilities you have. And then we already have a really good system in Germany with collaboration events, with experience rooms, with hackathons and so on. And it's really important that we have it to get a first impression of AI and discuss with others that are really good places to learn about AI. And then motivate the small companies by easy accessible funding. And here I mean funding for small companies, not just in combination or cooperation with universities or bigger companies. We need fundings for small SMEs and for the first steps they do with AI. And then accessible training courses, digital courses they can learn from. And then we need more tech influencers within the industry who talk about their best practices. It's really important. And now just shortly have a look at our technology. We bring AI in the roofing trade. And it's really important to understand that the German roofing trade will clearly be a renovation market in the next years, and we have more than 7 million roofs that are in need of a renovation in the moment. And the question my brother is always asked within the daily business is, Felix, what do you think? How long will the roof last? And it's so hard to give an answer here, because to be able to give an answer, there must be, or we must link the smart building structures with the smart skills of the roofers. And this is what we do with our technology. We bring them together. We have the technology on the one side and then the service concepts. So yeah, we are shaping, hopefully, the future of AI in roofing with our technology. So yeah, that's it from my part. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Yeah? Aaron, yeah. Take your time and...
Thank you. So my name is Attila Aaron Nagy, and I am the CEO of Polyment. We are a chemical company, but also robotics and software engineering, all in the same roof. And I think nowadays everybody kind of uses ChatGPT, so most of the people are knowing what is AI potentially capable of in the future. And since we have so many policymakers here today, I thought I'd bring 4 examples that we are trying in our company, and I think that can be useful for policymakers, how we can change them in order to help SMEs. Because I think what's really important that large corporations have so many lawyers and so many capital that they can really easily go through like any kinds of regulation. But I think when it comes to like SMEs, it can be like a huge roadblock, and it can be a so huge roadblock that it actually develops the product in a different way. Yes. So this is like, I would like to show real-world insights that we currently have in our company, and practical challenges and actionable solutions. So let's go to the first one. I didn't brought a video, but this is an equipment that we are currently producing. If anybody is interested after the presentation, I can show you demo videos and how it is actually working. But we call it sewer bot because it repairs pipes, so sewer pipes and water pipes and heat pipes. Without actually you have to dig up the pipe. So it's a quite useful technology, and from the get-go, I think we started developing it like 4 years ago. For me, what was really important to make it fully automatic, because whenever I meet our customers, whether they are in Scandinavia or in the UK, US, Australia, everybody is suffering with skilled workers, and that's a problem everywhere. And that is the reason why we try to create an equipment where we can automate everything. And if you automate everything, then you don't need 3 people, you probably need only 1 person, and probably it's not so skilled. And we kind of achieved it. So it's really fun because when you have to use the equipment, you only press a single button and it does nearly everything automatically. It has a camera inside the drum, it has a camera inside the head, and we are using image recognition, and it can do the job. And after the job is finished, it just sends you a push notification, and you can go back or drink a coffee. And otherwise, it's much more stressful because you have so many things you have to do, and now it's done automatically for you. And when we created the equipment, we have to get the CE certificate in order to sell the equipment. And the first one, we developed also voice control. So you could tell the equipment, do something, and it actually did. And when I told it to the company that could give us the CE regulation, he told me immediately, like, no way, because there is like new kinds of cyber regulation in the EU, and it's so hard to like get it through that, like, forget it. So okay, we won't use voice control. And then we also had the AI technology. And currently, I'm not sure how can we get it through the regulations so I can actually sell it in Europe with full the AI, because it's a so huge roadblock. So this is why I try to bring it up that I think in Europe there are many companies that are manufacturing equipments, all kinds of equipments. I think even now in the hair dryer there is going to be AI, and in the next 5 or 10 years everything is going to have AI because it's going to be more secure, it's going to be easier to use. But if you can't bring it to the market or not into the European market, I think it's going to be a huge roadblock. So I think here, if SMEs can get some help, that would be really appreciated. The next one is we are created a robot, and with the robot we can try different recipes. And the reason why that for AI you need a lot of data. We already heard that a lot of data, and lots of precise data. And if you are trying to make the recipes by hand and with people, sometimes it's not that precise that you can train an AI on, and you need so many data points that it's really hard to do with humans. And this is why we created the robotic arm, and with this robot we can do like try 100 different recipes each day, and more than a few thousands every year. And our vision was that we can create then a website, and people can use like sliders and create, and they can pick and choose whatever resin they want. So if they want a harder resin, like lower mechanical properties, like more elongation, whatever parameter they would like, they can use sliders, and then they can get a special recipe. They just pay, and and they get, I don't know, 5 liter, 10 liter, how much material they want. But here comes the a problem that in order for me to sell that material inside the EU, we have the REACH regulation, and I think it's a good regulation. But in order to sell, you have to go manually on a submit page, and actually it's really complicated to go through even with a single molecule or a single recipe that you want to sell. And I think if we could have like a REST API, a REST API is something that a computer can communicate to. I think that would be really helpful because then nobody has to sit there and manually type in all the different information. I can just send it to the regulator and I'm good to go, and I can sell the material instantly. And I think that would be like a huge advantage, because if I want to sell a tailor-made recipe every single time I have to do it manually, it's not going to be cost effective. The other thing I think it could be like a huge thing is workspace safety, because what we found that we can pretty easily, like with the current technology, say like who is who in just by a camera picture. But the problem is that with the GDPR regulation, it's really extremely difficult to go through all the hurdles. When I told my lawyer that I want to do this kind of project, he was immediately like, no, this is like bad idea. And he told me a story that actually there was, I think, like, and I told him that, oh, what can go wrong? Like GDPR, what is like the biggest fine, or like what? And he told me that, oh, actually there was like a hairdresser salon, and they had a camera, and they didn't have like the proper like camera policy, and actually they got a so huge fine they actually had to like go bankrupt. And then I said, okay, this is serious. I cannot really just bend the laws or go around it. I really have to follow everything. And but then it's really hard to create a product. But this could be really useful, because if I could say that I know that, oh, that person is John, and John is not wearing a helmet, I can immediately send him a push notification that, hey John, please take on your helmet, and this is like workspace safety. But you could use it in many areas, because also if you are a nursing home, you could say that, okay, John has a nut allergy, and now he's currently eating nuts. So I could immediately like send a notification to anybody that, hey, please go immediately to John, because he's going to have a problem. So there could be like many use cases in this area, but if you have to go through like all the different kind of regulation, it's nearly impossible to develop this technology. So I think in a technological perspective, this could be developed in a few weeks, but afterwards to really get it to the market, it's nearly impossible. And the fourth example, I think that could be really helpful, is we mentioned several times that we need data in order to train the models, and the EU has a lot of data, and if it could be like freely, or not freely, but super cheaply accessible to SMEs, we could train on those data, and that would be like super helpful, and that would be like a huge advantage. And this would like cost the EU nearly nothing, but it would be super helpful for us. And I brought an example that if you want to check an EU VAT number, whether it's correct or not, so whether you can actually like sell that whatever you want to sell to that company, you don't have a free solution for that. So you have to pay a company for like 7 or 21 or how much euro just to check a single EU VAT number, whether it's valid or not. And I think from an EU perspective, it would be super easy to create a solution that any SME can use free of charge, and then they can easily check it, and probably there will be less fraud, and we could automate a lot more. But in order to do that, we need like free access to this data, and I think that would be like super helpful. And as my call to action was that I wanted to highlight that I fully understand that with the regulation, every regulator tries to reduce risk, and that's perfectly fine. And if it's a big company, then perfectly fine, because they have so much resources. But innovation in itself is a risk, and if you over-regulate, I think the small SMEs inside Europe, I think they are going to have a bad time with the global competition. So that can be long-term, I think, as huge risk, and just the regulation. So yeah, if you could have like a smarter regulation, API access, open data, I think that would be really helpful for the SMEs. Yeah, thank you very much.
So thank you very much, and yeah, now over to you. Just take a few moments, let's say up to 10 minutes, to reflect on what you have heard, and with your let's say, lens. So the added value, where is the added value? What are the challenges and the skills, and what are the best practices and the best policies practices you may find in the application of AI? Just a few minutes, grasp and just see your ideas. What's the juice of what the story is in this sense, and then we will open the conversation, and we want to learn from you, of course. So sorry to interrupt you. I know it's always a little bit tricky, but time flies, and we have around 15 minutes to go. So let's start to hear what you have grasped from this presentation. So let's start from added value. Is there anyone that has been just focusing on the added value want to share something with us? Yes.
Okay, thank you. We have come up with a few points. By using AI, SMEs get enhanced efficiency, more productivity, and they have significant cost reduction. You reduce repetitive tasks. You get enhanced safety at workplaces, especially in sectors such as manufacturing or construction, when there's a high risk of accidents and hazards. Also, you can offer to your customers customized products according to their specific needs. You can collect big data, and by this, you get also more accuracy and less mistakes. And the last 2 points I have, it enables decision making, very important. You have more automatic workflows.
Okay.
In less time. And last one, you get resource optimization. You use your resources more efficient.
Okay.
That's all.
Cost, efficiency, safety, decision-making, productivity, big data, working with a lot of data.
And the last point, I also asked AI platform, and I get a similar answer. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other insight from the added value? Yes, please.
Thank you. So effectively, we agree. We had exactly the same points. I would add that AI provides much better predictive capacity than we would have otherwise.
Okay, so predictive capacity, so also it's important. Any other insight from the added value? If you want to just to comment, you don't must to, but if you have anything, so it's okay. So let's hear from the challenges and skills. Any contribution from your side? Yeah?
Okay, hi. So we had the topic of key challenges, and we were discussing that the first challenge would be, and it has been mentioned at the panel, is really to ask the right questions. This is where it starts, and by asking the right questions, to have the right data that you need for preparing AI, to really look at what kind of data you have and to prep accordingly. And the other challenge was, and this affects, and we also heard it on the panel, it affects especially AI applications where sensitive data is involved. And this is, of course, the never-ending story about GDPR.
Yeah.
And GDPR is not an enabler, I can tell you, despite what we sometimes hear from the Commission, it is not an enabler. Because in many cases, just the sheer fear of doing something wrong is preventing businesses or chambers of commerce or any other entity of using AI. Even simple applications like ChatGPT, and I can speak from experience in my own organization. And I hope I didn't miss anything. I think these were the three challenges we identified.
So questions, prompting, as I say, it's all about prompting, the quality of data you use, and of course the data protection legislation, and also the challenges that it's working on that. Any other insight from your from the other tables? Yes. Hope.
First of all, I'm going to keep it short because the Hungarian weather is not treating me well. So I think for skills, we see a lot of data literacy or illiteracy amongst the SMEs. So if you're a company with 2, 3, 4 people, it's really difficult to understand what AI can do, but also how to use it. So I think, first of all, you need to understand how to use it or what it is, and then you can understand how to use it. I think also it's important to understand that there is collaboration needed, so between yourself and the AI, but also between, let's say, the people, and then between the tools that you use. So that also links to what has been said on the analytical thinking. I think we need to transition from expecting a certain result and then also going into how to ask for a certain result. And I think that is very important because I think soft skills are essential. I think it's also important to understand that there need to be security safeguards and that we are all aware of this. So there is a certain framework about skills that we need to try to find and also define. And then I think one more thing to add on the challenges is definitely the clean data, so the labeling. So I think we live in a world where there is so much access to information. I think we've never lived in a world where there was so much access to information, but there's also so much information that is wrong. So it's very difficult to understand what is the ground truth data, what is the real data, both in ChatGPT or Perplexity or any of the other bots or any of the other initiatives. So there should be a framework. So that's what we see.
Thank you very much. And last but not least, the best practices and the policies. Yes.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we started off the session just agreeing that in terms of policy, it's always someone else's table. So people or companies, everybody, they're looking at somewhere else and some sort of dark room somewhere where it's being made, because those guys, they know what they're on about. So you place it in that, you close the door and you just let them get on with it and everybody just follows. But the problem is policy can't really catch up. AI is so quick and so much happens all the time that once you've written something, once you've agreed something, once you sat in the room, once you've implemented, it's already moved on. So policy will never, ever be able to catch up. So you have to accept that as a premise. But we were also on the positive note as well. So we did sort of look at publicly available data. And in Europe, there are some wonderful examples of lots of libraries, lots of data. There is publicly available. And we have got that sort of European value of that. It doesn't all have to be commercially something that's commercial. So we have got that, but we have to make more of it available. So policies that we've got, the foundation of it, we have got that sort of public available data mindset. So that's good. Free and accessible, standards. We've got an inclusive mindset as well. So I think so it was something where we were quite positive when we were discussing. We've got a lot of data, so we've got a basis for it. We just need lots more of it. We need a lot more policy to open up for a lot more of these libraries. And then it was, and this was not a table thing. It was me because I was a little bit provocative in my daily work, and I used AI daily, and maybe it's just an idea that we should get AI to write its own best practice policy.
Yeah.
Ask AI and say, what's the best practice policy for yourself?
As they did at the table, no? Where is the added value? Okay, thank you very much. Any other insight from the about best practices and policies? No? So, okay. I don't know if you have any comment or things you want to share. Yeah, just do it.
There's one more hand there.
Oh, okay, sorry.
This is just a comment. 6 months ago, it came to my attention that in the United States, the universities, some of the universities, they have acquired a new subject of training the AI officer for businesses. Is it something that we enhance to do in Europe? Because Hearing that, I initiated an event in Cyprus, at the University of Cyprus, where a specialist on the field from Israel is coming to speak to us about that. But I thought it's very useful, since we have the ITs specialists in our offices, in our businesses, probably that would be the next need.
Thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think I don't think we have to copy it one-on-one, but I think it's a good idea in general, right? So we need more advocates, right? So I think what happened right now is that at least we know the change is happening, right? But then we need to educate ourselves more. I think this is good form. It works particularly well there because I think educational institutions are a great source. I think that people are more open to it, right? So the younger generations have less fear and also have more dealings with it daily, right? So we didn't grow up, at least I didn't, in high school or in university using ChatGPT, right? But they do, right? So I think turning those into people who enter the workforce and forcing the implementation, I think that increases the chance. So I think it's a very good point, yeah.
Any other reaction from you? No? Yeah?
Yeah, we have in Germany some formats. It's called the hackathons in the skilled trades, and there we bring together the university IT together with the skilled trades, and it works perfectly. So it's a really good example for that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it was very well said before me. Yeah.
But I agree with the other point. So the lady who mentioned the fear part, I think that was a very good point as well, right? So that's the whole issue, right? So AI has such a big cloud overness that we are not asking the right questions anymore because we are feared of being judged not knowing, right? But to have more adaptation, we need just more education overall, right? And more entry-level education to understand. So maybe I agree that policy will always be behind when it is such a rapid development, right? So you look at the basal things that policies can provide, right? So I think education is a really good thing, especially then also on the other side on data understanding, right? So how to look at data, how to deal, and what insights to extract from it, essentially speaking.
Okay. Yeah.
Just one last thing that I think it's important that in some of the use cases in a few months can be a deciding factor. Yeah. So whether you deploy your new thing before your competition. And in EU, sometimes we get the newest models like a few months because they have to go through the regulatory steps. And that is already something that is bad for the SMEs. So I think whenever we can get the newest, the best models faster, that is a competitive edge.
Okay, thank you. Yes, one, and then be prepared. So can we also show the work that Miri has done?
So also just a few comments that come from Copenhagen FinTech, which is the Danish cluster for finance and fintechs. And of course, our companies are driven by AI and one of the largest investors if you look at different verticals. So one thing, AI is not just AI. First of all, there's machine learning, NLP. We have to be very clear what we're talking about when we're talking about AI. Second, I'm a little surprised that no one has mentioned the open data spaces that will be in effect, hopefully, by 2030. So we will have open data spaces across different industries in Europe within the next 5 years. Also, the AI Act, no one has mentioned that so far. That is hitting, in terms of the regulation side, this is hitting our companies really, really hard. Every single product solution embedding AI has to be classified towards these risk groups. That means you have to know how they fall in these different risk groups. You also have to be able to document your process in developing this. And what we are seeing right now is that large corporates are de-risking their solutions, and our fintechs cannot compete with that. They don't have the in-house financial resources to have a large legal firm to blue stamp their solutions. They don't have their own AI experts. So either they can compete by being non-compliant or, go bust, basically. So this is what we are seeing, at least in the fintech sector right now.
Thank you, and thank you for mentioning all these things. I think our time is over. I want, to thank you, Miri, for the work, and this will be also downloadable from the the app, I guess, okay? Or in any case, it will be possible to get it. I want to thank again Dennis Tan, Anne Moll, and Aaron Nagy for the stories they've told us and how they are showcasing how they are using the AI. And yeah, we would like to just to invite you, if you have any idea or contribution or recommendation, to come just outside here to the Ideas Lounge and bring your recommendation to the Commission, to the next Commission over there. And if you have no time to do that, you can still use Slido and send them via Slido. We have done. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the morning at the SME Assembly.